their social security numbers, okay? As a matter of fact, you don't have to give any information that's not on this form. Your school district, like the Athens School District, will send out their own forms. You do not have to use their forms. You only have to use the information that's on this form.
And you can also search Ohio homeschool notification, and this form will come up. So you can download it. I have it downloaded on my computer, and then I don't even think I type all mine out. So it's available online to get a copy.
In your brochures, Dr. Galinga's site has these, and CHIO, Christian Home Educator for Child, so you can get them easily if you can lose these. Then you're just assuring that you're going to be teaching language, reading, spelling, writing, geography, all of this. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to teach all of that every year, and it doesn't even say that you're going to be doing it yearly. It says assurance that home education will include the following, except that home education shall not be required to include any concept that's against your religious belief. So yeah, I assure you that sometime during my homeschool life, hey, Calvin, during your homeschool life, that you are going to be touching on these things, okay? And then a brief outline. The brief outline was always something that kind of got me because they don't really specify what is an outline. And I know some people have sat down and really gone into detail, and then they use their outline kind of as their lesson plans for the year. You can do that. Before Peter will remember this, I used to take all of our textbooks down to Kinko's, and I used to copy the table of contents. You can do that. I don't do that anymore. You can get a book of lists. This is a book I purchased a couple of years ago. It has lists of things. It also has a CD, and you can just like make copies of the things that you're going to use on this. Or another thing that's even easier is I go to the World Book Encyclopedia. They have a scope and sequence per grade. I just print that off. World Book Encyclopedia, their scope and sequence. I find the grade, I print. So they have their outline.
And if anyone would like, I do a very, 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 very generic skeletal outline, and my school system has approved it for like the last 7 or 8 years. So if anyone wants to see maybe a copy of what an outline would look like, you can give me your email and I can send it to you.
The other thing I want to say too about that form is the one that the school sends out, they have individual check marks next to each of the subjects, and this form has one check mark that encompasses all of the subjects. So I don't know, for me that just feels like, then that frees up my time. You know, I don't have to say, yes, I am absolutely going to cover health, or I'm absolutely going to cover this. You know, so it's one check mark. So there are some differences in the forms that the schools will send you.
So you need to make a book list, but that's pretty easy to make. Hey guys, Maria and Elizabeth, hello. List of textbooks, that's easy. And correspondence purpose, anything else you're going to do. The list part I always found was easy. It was the outline part that I thought was more difficult, but good nice to do that. Assurance that your child will provide a minimum of 900 hours of home education. If they're awake, they're learning. Check. Okay, and then assurance that the homeschool teacher has one of the following qualifications. You know, high school diplomas, you know, you can read that over. That's not a problem. You want to fill that out with your book list and your outline, okay? And then we suggest that you either mail that in certified, or usually what we do is Pete there will take that into the superintendents and hand it to them and get a receipt back so that you know that it's there. And make copies of everything. As long as you have copies, they have like 14 days to tell you that something, you know, is wrong. Now I have had an experience with this gentleman right here, where one year I totally left off his math book and I didn't put it on the outline, you know, and I didn't realize it till later, and they never said anything. So I don't think they go over to the fine tooth. And he was in high school too, so it was like, you know, oh no, he must have been junior high, like 7th grade. So it was important, but they didn't notice it.
Do we need a copy of your high school diploma or college?
No,
You just say
check.
no.
That's another difference with the school form that gets sent out, at least for your Akron Public Schools. It will actually give you a checkbox next to each of those. They want you to check what your qualifications are. This form just says Yes, I have one of those.
Number 9, assurance that the homeschool teacher gets them.
Yeah.
This is a little scary for me for other kids that are homeschooled. Oh yeah, I have it, as a parent.
Well, the superintendent could check on that, but as long as your kids are doing okay.
And there are some states that you do not have to prove.
Oh,
In fact,
we
you
were
were
notified
notified.
for a year. They didn't, I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't tell them anything.
Does anyone ever follow up with you and say, oh, here was your outline, now let me see the work they did?
No, because your outline is only your intended scope of curriculum.
It changes.
It changes, and they're just asking for I can't remember the terminology on the form, the intended scope of your curriculum or something.
Yeah.
So,
On the other side.
the only time I've had anything from the school system is they called me after I dropped it off, and she was like, there's not a problem, you forgot to sign it. And this was the year that I forgot to notify the school district. The first year I'm like paranoid, and by this year I saw the bus go by in the morning and I was like, oh! I won't even say what I said. I was like, oh my gosh! And I just had everything on my computer. I printed it all off and took it to them. That could have been the same year they called and said I forgot something. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, brief outline of the intended curriculum for the current year. Such outline is for informational purposes only. So,
Yeah, and I just run through with mine and I'll put for each kid, I'll just say English, and then I just list the books that I'm going to use. And then as far as extracurricular activities, I put down what I intend to try and do that year,
Yeah, right.
but I guarantee you that it doesn't all get done.
and see on some of the websites that I've seen, mine is very general because my brief outline is Abby will study all the regular school subjects of a person of her typical age and grade and more in this school year. That's my outline. Because somewhere on the state of Ohio said that that's all, because it's only for informational purposes, that's the only, I try to keep it as simple as possible.
On the website in the file. That was really
To begin, I found it on one of the websites about homeschooling law because it's only for informational purposes. I'm giving you, and then a list of, I just say textbooks. I never put anything specific. And they've accepted it for 7 or 8 years now. And I'm in a Talmadge school district, so I don't know if it'll be different per school district, but, and at the end of the list of things, I also put this list can never be complete. Because there could always be something more that I may or